Welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Dee Dee, and this is Randy, and we are here at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center on Rosemont Avenue, bringing you some adoptable animals that are available in your shelter right now. Our first guest is a little Bichon mix that came to us as a stray, and if you lost this dog recently, then there's no way you can recognize him now. When he came in, he had at least 5-inch long hair all over his entire body, and he looked like a little cotton ball. We are calling him Caesar, but that's not his real name. We don't know his real name. And the reason he has to wear the little cone on his head is because since Charlotte groomed him, he's very, very itchy. So he's scratching, and we don't want him to hurt himself until we can get him all soothed and medicated so he feels good again. Now, if you lost him a long time ago and have been looking for him for a long time, this is probably more how you remember him. Whenever we find dogs that are in a condition that looks like they haven't been cared for recently, it's very hard to know if it's because they were lost for a long time or that they left a bad situation. So this little guy is probably part Bichon. The reason I say that is because he's got a longer body than his legs are long, because he's white, because he has little buff patches of color, but he also could certainly be a mixed breed. And as his fur grows in and is brushed and cared for, we're gonna know a lot more about what he used to look like. He obviously can grow really long hair, so he's available for adoption now because we haven't been able to find his family. If you consider adopting him, then you want to either know how to groom dogs or be prepared for a little bit of extra added expense to keep him looking his best. And we will, of course, do the usual neutering and microchipping. He wants to scratch his ear right now. And start him on his shots and that kind of thing so that he'll be ready for you. He is about 3 to 4 years old. We're taking a guess. So, of course, if you're missing a dog that's 2 years old, or if you are missing a dog a little older, then he could still be yours because we're just making that 3 to 4 year old guess. Randy's given him a nice ear massage so he can not be so worried about his itchy ear. And we're hoping that in short order, our vet, Dr. Thomas, is going to get all of his issues under control and that he'll be okay again once he is cleaned up and get his skin back in condition. If you are interested in adopting him, please come by the shelter and let us know. Meet him, see what you think. We are back with Gus, and Gus is a typical farm dog. He is probably part pit bull or some kind of bully breed like boxer or cur or something like that. He has a very short coat and a beautiful face, which you'll be able to see in a minute. Little tiny almond eyes and white markings on his face. He sits when you ask him to. He's used to babies. He is only 2 years old. He is already neutered, and he lived his whole life with one family. And they had other dogs as well. He is a very nice dog, as you can see, and nice and big. A lot of people like big dogs. And I don't know if Randy can show you, but he has this really great leash. We use halters here for the bigger dogs so that our volunteers can walk them, and if they pull hard, it won't pull on their neck. But we also have volunteer trainers who come in and teach the dogs how not to pull to try to help you out once you adopt. But this leash that he has 2 handles. So there's a handle far back so that you can let him walk freely and sniff and enjoy his stroll. And then a handle close up to the harness so you can grab that if you're in traffic or you need to cross the street or something like that. And these leashes have become really popular. So it's something that you might want to think for getting for any dog. But when we use harnesses in the shelter, we have to use a regular leash instead of the slip leash, and these are really handy to have. So as you can see, for a young 2-year-old bully breed, Gus is pretty calm and polite and listens, but don't let that fool you. He has a lot of energy like a puppy. Lots of terriers are that way. He doesn't jump up on people in a bad habit way, but if you invite him up to play, he's very energetic and interested in being with people. So I think he's going to make somebody a really great family pet. One thing to be careful about is make sure if you have a landlord that your landlord's okay with all breeds. There are some laws pending in the Maryland State Senate right now that are going to protect him from discrimination because of how he looks, which is a good thing. But in the meantime, there are a lot of landlords who have succumbed to the belief that these dogs are somehow different from other dogs. And I don't know what to tell you other than I've been working with dogs professionally since 1977, and prior to that, trained dogs in 4-H. And there's just no difference between one breed and another. Obviously, dogs inherit from their parents some skills and behavior, but you can have, as everybody out there knows, you can have a border collie who simply will not herd sheep. You can have a duck dog who simply will not jump in the water. So if we could guarantee that breeds of dogs would all act the same, then there would be no unwanted dogs, because we could just cookie cutter the dog that somebody orders and make that happen. It's just not like that. They're individuals. It matters how they've lived. It matters what they've learned and how they've been handled. And it is absolutely true that they inherit behavior from their parents. The problem is that every parent of every breed isn't the same. So it's just not true that you can judge a book by its cover, which we all know. And as you can see from meeting him here in the studio and seeing him on video, really nice dog. And he's going to make somebody a good family pet. So if you are interested in Gus, then come by and meet him. This is Snickers, and Snickers is known as a cockapoo. But some people mistakenly think that's a breed of dog, and it is a mixture of a Cocker Spaniel and a Poodle. And they usually keep them first generation. So one parent is a Cocker Spaniel and one parent is a Poodle. They don't take two cockapoo mixed puppies and breed them together. And the reason that they don't is because the puppies turn out to look all kinds of crazy. So if you mix a Cocker Spaniel and a Poodle, you get a certain medium-sized, medium-coated dog. But if you then take puppies and mix them, you can get a setter-looking dog. You can get a kinky-haired, tiny dog. So cockapoo is a mix of a Cocker Spaniel and a Poodle, not a breed. And they usually have this typical look that Snickers has, long hair on their ears. And when he's groomed, there are several ways you can go, and you should talk to your groomer about it. You can groom the hair on his mouth, tail, and ears short so that he looks like a spaniel, like in Lady and the Tramp. Or you can do as his family before us did, the Schnauzer look, where he gets to keep his mustache and beard and the pom-pom on top of his head. It's really up to you, and you don't have to do it the same every time either. So either you can learn how to use clippers yourself, or you can get to know a groomer that can help you find just the look that you want for your dog. Obviously, you can let his hair be natural. You just have to brush him and watch out for things like burrs and ice collecting on his fur when he goes outside. Usually, even if you elect to let him be all natural and have long hair, you're still going to want to trim the bottoms of his feet so that he doesn't have problems with ice and matting. So if you think that Snickers would make a nice match for you or someone in your family, come in and meet him, talk to us about all the dogs. And even if you have a dog at home, maybe you're going to have a family member come and visit with a baby and you're nervous about that, call me. I will talk to you about things you can do to make it safer. And we actually have a long list of trainers that will come to your home, and I can refer you to somebody who will come and help show you how to make things easy in your home with baby gates and crate train your dog if you think that's necessary. A lot of times people are worried about putting a dog in a cage at an older age, like 7. He's like a 45-year-old person. So starting something new should be easy for him. But if you introduce it in the right way, you can solve a lot of problems by using the tools that dog trainers use all the time. And by all means, we do not believe that dogs need to live in cages, nor should they. But it is a tool you can use to help manage a training program, and I recommend it. My dogs both willingly go in and out of crates, and they don't have to, but I like knowing that they will, because if I have to ever drop them off at the vet, or if I had to evacuate my house and take them to a shelter with me, or even a hotel, or one of my dogs goes to dog events, knowing that I can put him in a crate and walk away and go buy a hot dog and come back and share it with him, and I know that he's going to be safe. It's a great tool to have for all dogs, even if you're not going to use it on a regular basis. Our next guest is Derby, and Derby is one of the prettiest rabbits I've ever seen. He has blue eyes, which is not uncommon in rabbits, but with his dark colored fur, it's very striking. He's very pretty. He's probably part Dutch rabbit because of his size, coloring, and type of coat. I can't be sure of that, but it's a best guess. He is full-sized, and we made up his name Derby. And we've shown him on TV before, but his story is that he was living in a hutch in the yard with another bunny, and over the summer, a neighbor of his owners was concerned that it was too hot for the bunnies, and she explained to the people how hard the very warm weather in Maryland is on rabbits. They have a really hard time cooling off in the humid weather. And so the family didn't know about this, and the other bunny died. And so when winter came, they were naturally more concerned about him in the cold weather, because humans tend to anthropomorphize. We figure that animals experience what we do, which is in some ways true, but sometimes we can get it very wrong. Because we don't have fur, winter is really hard on us, not on rabbits. So at Christmas time, they gave him to the neighbor that had been so concerned about them in the summer, so that she could take him inside in the winter, which she did. But she didn't know anything about taking care of rabbits long term. She didn't want a rabbit. One of the reasons that sometimes animal welfare advocates recommend not giving a live animal as a gift is because you have to be sure that the person wants the commitment of that live animal. So she brought him into us, and we are looking for a new home for him. And as I said, he's striking and beautiful. But on top of that, for living in a hutch outside, he's a very confident and friendly rabbit. He's very communicative. He's willing to approach. He stands up on his hind legs when interacting with people. You can see a clip of him doing that with Randy on petfinder.com. He is a really nice bunny. I think he's going to make someone a really nice pet. And I'm glad that he got out of his outdoor hutch situation. If you are interested in adopting a bunny, we can arrange for you to talk with Carla, who is our bunny expert, and she will tell you all of the secrets of making your rabbit happy. We're going to take a short break, and you'll get some county information, and then we're going to come back with more adoptable animals available from Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center on Rosemont Avenue. We'll be right back, and I hope I see you then.
The Frederick Board of County Commissioners announces a new service for county residents and those interested in watching live broadcasts and archived videos of county meetings and special programs. In addition to watching county meetings online from a personal computer, viewers may now tune in from the convenience of an iPhone, iPad, or other mobile device, including some Android smartphones. We're taking government to a higher level of technology in offering this new service, and we look forward to hearing good feedback from our citizens. Simply visit www.frederickcountymd.gov/FCG-TV and click on the link that says Watch FCG-TV Live.
Welcome back to Pet Pals. We are back with some more adoptable animals from Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center on Rosemont Avenue. And our first feline guest is Vivian. Vivian is a black and white domestic short hair who was found. She is, like all of the cats that we have here at the shelter, going to be spayed and microchipped and started on her vaccinations. And in Vivian's case, we have estimated her age to be around 9 years old. And since cats can live 15 to 20, that makes her like about a 60-year-old person. And she is very sweet. We've color-coded her orange, which means she's easy to handle and likes to be with people. And like many cats are, she's a little nervous here in the studio. So she's trying to hide behind Randy. But she does, as you can see, snuggle up to him and feel like people can keep her safe. It's just hard for cats to go through the things that they have to go through to get a new home, which means obviously she was found, she was taken in by somebody who got her comfortable in their home and couldn't find her owner. And then she was brought here, and we got her comfortable in our triage area, knowing that we were going to feed her and take care of her. And then we moved her to the adoption floor where she had to get comfortable again. So it is something that cats don't really aspire to. And what I mean by that is they don't want to go to a lot of new places all of the time. But once they do and they get settled in, then they feel very comfortable. A lot of times people say it's sad to come to the shelter because they see all of the cats in cages and they think that they should get out of there. While a cat would definitely rather be in a home they know than in a cage they know, they would rather be in a place they know than in a place they don't know. So when you adopt a cat, we give you lots of information about how to make that transition as easy as possible so she can blossom into the kitty that she's going to be for you. She has beautiful yellow eyes with little green rings around her pupils, and the little white spot on her face makes her unique. So if you think that Vivian would make a nice match for you or someone that you know, come and meet her. This little kitty is Valentino, quite lovely and petite. And you know, Valentine's Day is coming up, so when stray cats come to us, we have to make up names for them, so we don't have to call him 072. So he would not care at all if you change his name. He's not even used to this one, but he is very sweet and I think deserving of such a lovable name. He is also pretty. He has a beautiful cream tabby and white markings, and he's going to make someone a really nice pet. His story is very similar to Vivian's. Someone found him walking around, brought him into their house, looked for his family, and couldn't find them. He is quite young. He is under a year old, and so he probably was one of this year's kittens, but we don't know if he was born to a stray mama cat who has gone off to have another litter and now he's on his own, or if he was born to a cat that belonged to someone and he was raised by people. But he acts like the latter. He acts like he knows people feed and care for him, and is very acclimated and socialized. So one of the things that people often say when they find a kitty outside is that he might be feral, and a truly feral cat is born to a mother cat who's never been cared for by people. And very unlikely in his case, because he's very used to people, understands that people are the source of food and affection. So that means he's going to make someone a very good pet. It also means, despite his young age, he's very mellow. He's going to make someone a really great pet because he is still a kitten, and he has experienced enough of outdoor life to know what the dangers may be. So I think he's going to be pretty happy to get indoors to his own place. And that's another thing about the shelter. If a cat has lived stray, especially in the winter, it's another reason that when people say, oh no, it's sad to see them in the shelter, for the cat who's been chased by a dog and rained on and slept on ice, coming to the shelter is not a bad thing. Yes, it is true that he only has a small room, but if you think about it, in the winter that we've been having here in Maryland, would you prefer to be free and live outside with no job, no responsibilities, and no ties? Yeah, it sounds attractive. Or Would you prefer to have a free hotel room somewhere that has, you know, cable, heat, air conditioning, and room service? Kitties like us choose the same way. Lots of cats choose the hotel room like Valentino would. So if you think that Valentino would make a good match for you or someone that you know, please let us know. This is Anastasia, and she is an 8 to 10-month-old kitten, and quite the handful. She is a beautiful Siamese mix with longer hair, beautiful blue eyes. She's very friendly and outgoing, but we've color-coded her as green because when we took her blood for her blood test, she was not very happy at all. Now you might say, I'm amazed that any cat lets you take his blood or her blood. Right. And what is surprising is many of them do. So we color code them blue, so you'll know that they're quite cooperative with strange things that people do. And it is more normal for them to be, especially as kittens, like Anastasia. She wants to run around in this room. It's a really big room. What you can see, the studio part, is just a tiny corner. And she is going to give Randy a run for his money, as well as our cameraman, Richard, is going to try to have to keep her in the scope. She is a beautiful kitten. She's going to make somebody a wonderful pet. And I think and she was also found. So the number of animals that we find, we get over 3,000 cats a year, and half of them are found. And we don't find their owners except for about 3% of them. So quite the low response rate for people who lose their cats. If you know of someone who may have lost Anastasia, please let them know. That isn't her name. Obviously, we made that up because she wasn't wearing a collar or tag or anything that would tell us what her real name is, and she doesn't have a microchip yet, but we will make sure she does, so that if you adopt Anastasia and name her whatever you like, that she will be easy to return to you by her microchip, and of course the collar that you will purchase for her. I'm sure it will have diamond studs. Our next guest is Harry, and Harry is between 1 and 1.5 years old, and he was also a found kitty. And as I explained, half of our cats come from the community. People bring in cats that are friendly and clearly have been raised by people in hopes that we're going to find their owner. And what is surprising to all of us is there are so many people looking for their lost cats. And often those people do not match the cats that we have. So it's very strange that we may have, in a year, 1,200 lost cats and 40 people looking for cats, and never a cross match. However, when we do have a match, it is not uncommon for someone to find their cat a month or two after the cat has gone missing. Now, I can think of a lot of reasons why that might happen, and we have a lot of assumptions about why that happens, but we can never ask the cats what the real truth is. So one of the things that we sometimes find out is that the cat developed 2 homes. So while the cat was living with someone since a kitten, they periodically hang out at another house. That person feeds them because they feel sorry for them, and sometimes they sleep over, and then the cats end up with 2 owners. The reason we know this happens is because when someone has lost their cat overnight, they often go out, buy a collar, get a tag, put it on the cat, and within a few days, they have a neighbor call and say, how come your phone number is on my cat? So that's how they find out that situation. The other situation is that sometimes cats are able to take care of themselves for a little bit of time outside. We had an elderly declawed cat who was lost for 2 months in the winter, and she was found. We had another cat that was lost for longer than that, I think closer to 4 months, and that cat was found a little thin and maybe wasn't able to take care of himself as well, but they got him back. And then we had another cat found after 4 months that had a German microchip. So that was a little harder to trace back to the owner, but they had been diligently looking, coming all the time to see if they found their cat. In the meantime, they had adopted a new cat, so when they found their cat, he had to adjust to his new feline sibling. So I guess my message in that is if you've lost your cat, don't give up. Send us a picture, continue to come in and look, put up signs, because it is not uncommon for cats to be found several weeks after they've gone missing for a variety of reasons. So we are calling this kitty Harry because he's not neutered. We are thinking it is more likely that we will not find his owner. He's probably the kitten of a cat who has been cared for because he's so friendly to people. So we will neuter him and microchip him, and he is litter box trained and a wonderful cat, as you can plainly see. And so if you think that Harry would make a good match for you or someone that you know, then let us know or share his picture. Our next guest is Goldie, which as soon as she turns around and looks at you, you will see is because of her beautiful eyes. And Goldie is a spayed female cat, 2 years old. She is a domestic short hair, beautiful bluish gray color, plush coat, round face, little round feet, just couldn't be cuter. And Goldie has been here since December. And that is not uncommon for some of our cats this time of year because we're just finishing up kitten season. And the last of the tiny kittens, the 2 little black kittens you saw 2 weeks ago, have been adopted. So, and Babs, the kitten, adopted. You can see many of their stories and pictures on Facebook. So now we have some adult cats left, and we will be gearing up for the next kitten season, which, believe it or not, it's starting now. And by April, we will have kittens being born that need to be in foster care. As a matter of fact, Goldie came from our foster care program. And what is nice about that is that means if you come in to meet her and like her and you want to know something about her, we have a profile. And we ask questions on the profile about what kind of litter they like, where they like to sleep, where they've been fed, do they know other cats and dogs, do they like babies, all kinds of things. And certainly whatever we say on the profile is all the knowledge that we have. But we have many times had cats who maybe they don't have any dog experience, maybe they don't have experience with small children, but we color code them blue or orange because we know that they will be amenable to pretty much whatever nice people are asking of them. And Goldie's beautiful gold eyes stand out, and I'm sure that's how she got her name. But cats are also amenable to having their name changed. If you would like your cat to have a name that reflects something meaningful to you, you may have pets at home now and think of how many nicknames they have. It doesn't take cats and dogs very long to learn what words we say when there's opportunities for them to be fed, have affection when we're talking about them, referring to them. And I'm sure many of us, many of you have experienced trying to trick your pet by using a code name. Well, once you use that 3 or 4 times, that becomes their nickname, and you can no longer fool them. So if you think that Goldie would make a nice addition to your household or to someone that you know, then please let us know. We are doing our best to find homes for all of the homeless animals in Frederick County. As you all well know by now, we get over 5,000 a year, and in some years we've gotten over 6,000. So we do our best to find homes for them all. It averages out to about 15 new animals a day, and we only do 5 or 6 adoptions a day, so the numbers usually don't add up to animals, all the animals finding a new home. We work with rescue groups, and I can tell you, if you have a barn and you are interested in controlling mice in the barn, then you should give Animal Welfare League a call, because they have taken a number of cats from us this year who were not friendly like Goldie, not acclimated to people, and they've placed them in barn homes around the county, which makes a big difference to us being able to find second chances for those cats in our ability to save more animals. So thank you for joining us. We are, as always, on Rosemont Avenue at the shelter. And we have adoptable animals for you all the time. We also have a wish list, which means if we don't have what you want today and we get what you want, give us your phone number so we can call and let you know. Join us next time on Pet Pals, and please feel free to share the link at the bottom of your screen on your social networking sites or through email so more people can find out about the lovely pets we have at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center.